Let's go. Was around 2 months ago, GPC Queensland State titles. It went really well. I was happy with it. At that point, it had been almost 2 years since I had done like a bigger competition, so there were a lot more nerves coming into it. There was a lot more self-pressure put on myself from it, and like I said, although it went really well, I think there could have been things we could have done better. So after every single comp, I sit down with my coach, I go through and we talk about what went well, what didn't go so well, how we can improve upon that, what are the low-hanging fruits. And for this off-season and things to improve on, we came up with a couple of things that I could, the low-hanging fruits as well as the rest that we can work on, and that was conditioning and work capacity. So I've been working hard at that. The bike's been my best friend in the gym. I have been getting my resting heart rate down and tracking some progression on that. And the second one was my shoulder. My shoulder's been a bit of an issue for a couple of years now. It's gotten better and worse, but we've never come up with a strategy that has allowed me to have it consistently good. And that's messed with my bench press progression, my squat progression from holding the bar and upper back tightness, and even my deadlift a little bit gets a little bit helicopter, that twisting motion on it as well. So all three lifts I know can be improved dramatically from fixing this issue and this twisting issue. I'm working hard on that, and there is progression there. And that leads us to what we've been doing. So after comp, there's more of a bodybuilding hypertrophy, and with those other low-hanging fruit goals in there, and that allowed me to deload my tendons and ligaments and joints and get in through different ranges of motion, get away from the heavies, get away from the specificity, and that's what I've been working up until a week ago. So this is the second week of my new block where we've got the deadlifts in, we've got the squatting in, we've got the benching in, and that's it's going to lead us up into our comp set of the year. Right, so we've done the sumo deadlifts. As I said before, sumo deadlifts, off season, I'm about hypertrophy and about movement, taking joints through a big range of motion, taking pressure off tendons and stuff like that. But sumo is a comp lift. It's just for expressing skill. It's not really great at building any muscle, not really good at taking any muscles through a full range. So our second lift is going to be a Romanian deadlift, an RDL, which is going to take our hips, our hamstrings, our glutes through a much larger range, much better for hypertrophy, much easier to slab on the tissue I need for 6 months' time. Not as hard technically, but much harder physically, like closer to failure. Mm-hmm. Different areas of hard. So this block, I am benching or pressing 3 times a week. They're not all bench specific variations. I'm doing lots of presses, but with my shoulder, I can't bench 3 times a week yet, but we are doing pressing 3 times a week. So cable presses, dumbbell presses, still building the volume in that pattern and working out the structure that we're going to take forward. I'm deadlifting twice a week. Both sumo at the moment because of these little comps coming up, and I really want to get some practice in. I've never actually pushed my sumo, so I'm excited to do that. And the squatting twice a week as well, between safety bar and pauses. And they're all pretty distant variations at the moment, but they'll all set up a program structure and allow me to see what I can get away with. So, and then the specificity will increase as we get further and further over the months and coming into comp. You want to change as little as possible as you can. You want to have your rough roughly how much work you can handle, roughly like the schedule that works for you. All sorted out in your off season. It doesn't have to be the set lifts or anything yet, but we're setting the scene to progress into the future. All right, so sumo deadlifts down, Romanian deadlifts down. Next exercise is a Bulgarian split squat. Now the variation I do of Bulgarian split squat is a hat-filled version. So it's a safety bar on my back. The weight is slightly in front of me, so it can sit there without me actually holding the bar, which allows for a lot of loading. So if I'm holding dumbbells, I'm doing it. The dumbbells would have to be like 50, 60 kilos, and it's just a nightmare. Whereas this, I can sit this on my back, load it up really heavy. I set up these straps here. Usually I'll be in like a normal rack, but I don't have one. So we're using the mono with some straps around it, and I'll just hold on to the straps. And that'll give me a little bit more stability so I can load a lot of weight. Like I said, hypertrophy, getting a lot of load through these movements is the goal of training at the moment. Not like stability, or we want to call it, where I've changed coming into comp. So I want to be able to get a load on there. I want a lot of external stability. So this is the best setup that allows for that. Alright, so big heavy stuff out of the way. Onto our last two exercises, which is going to be a lat pull down and a lying leg curl. Pure hypertrophy goal, pushing them real close to failure, just thinking about the muscles as opposed to the movements or whatever you want to call it for the other ones. On the lat pull down, a lot of people tend to turn this into a row, so they'll set up, they'll sit right underneath it, they'll pull down, big chest up, pull their scaps back together, and get a lot of upper back in it. So as you'll see, I'll sit back a little bit further behind it. And try to pull my elbow straight down towards my hip, keeping it in front of my body, really trying to target the lats in this as opposed to the upper back. So the lying leg curl here. The biggest mistake people make with this one is really bringing it back into it. Really, when they try to curl with this, they want to arch up the back and use everything along with it. So you'll see I be really strict. I'm trying to push my hips in this, make sure my hips don't rock back and forth. Also engaging my lats by grabbing onto these handles and pulling back. Setting my whole body up so it won't move, so that when I try and flex my knee, that's all that's going to move, and I can put maximum force through my hamstring and take my hamstring to failure without cheating in. Right, so that's it. Finished it up. Pretty happy with today's session. Hit the sumo deadlifts. Only second week on those, so I'm pretty happy with how they're moving. Still a little couple of technical things I'm still getting used to. The weight moved well. I know I could have done more, but I'm happy with how the technique held together for that top set. Everything else, the RDLs, the split squats, the hypertrophy movements, they're moving slightly forward from previous weeks. That's all I care about on those. So very happy overall. I'm actually doing APL States this weekend as a little bit of a walkthrough comp. So keep your eyes out for that material as well. As for moving forward, I'm going to try to keep a schedule as best as possible for these video logs every 2 weeks. We're going to film a different session every time and try and talk through the ups and downs of comp prep and the whole journey towards APL Nationals and ProRaw towards the end of the year. So if you want to see anything in particular, make sure you shoot us through a message and we'll make sure we cover that in the process. But other than that, Send me through some feedback. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to hear. We'll get it inside, outside the gym. We'll get it done. Subscribe, like the videos, help us get some momentum. We're only just starting, so get it happening. And I'll see you next time.